Hey there, streakers. The day after Halloween. That's right, it's the day after Halloween. And this morning, I picked up some interesting pieces of trash to keep my trash streak going, as far as pick up at least one piece of trash. If you want to head over to the Streaking app, you can see what it was that I picked up. But as I was out on my run this morning, I was thinking about the process of the streak, keeping the streak alive when you're not feeling well, when you're under the weather. And I will explain more about that as we get going. This is Jeff Downs, and this is the Streaking Show. Let's start streaking. I am not feeling real well. When I woke up this morning, actually, when I went to bed last night, I took the Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus. I'm feeling it a little bit in my chest. I've got the stuffy nose and a little bit of aches, but not a lot. And as I was thinking about, I was getting up this morning, I was thinking, do I really want to get up and do this right now? There wasn't ever a question per se if, and when I say do this right now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the streak of walk or run at least 1 mile and a couple of the other physical streaks that I have. Maybe I could wait till later in the day when it's warm out, because right now it's 26 degrees and it was pitch black. And I thought to myself, should I wait? As I started thinking, I didn't feel real well. I thought I could sleep for a little bit longer. I had meetings that I had to tend to in my regular day job. Therefore, I was thinking, if I wait till later, I'm going to be tired. One of the mantras that I often repeat to a lot of different people is laughably simple streaks. Laughably simple streaks in the morning are sometimes ridiculously hard at night. So I was thinking about this and I thought, you know what? I just got to do it. I got to get up and I've got to run or walk at least a mile. So I got ready for the day, and there's, some different streaks that I do along the way. I say my prayers, I say my morning prayers, I do a plank, I do some squats, and then it's time to head out for the run. And again, I was not feeling great. Right now I feel a little bit better, but I still have the head congestion. I still feel the itch in my throat that's coughing. I thought, is it really worth it to do this? Is it really worth it to keep the streak alive? Why not just rest for this day and go about your life, pick it up tomorrow, and you can do it. What I've found in my life, and I'm curious to see if this is true for yours as well, if you found this in your life, when I have the momentum of the streak working for me, when I am doing it every single day, it's easier to keep it alive than it is to stop it and then start again. It's easier to look at what it is I'm going through, do the analysis, and continue forward rather than, you know what, I'll get back to this. In fact, there's several different studies that show if you keep something going, if you keep it alive, then keeping it alive is much easier. Sorry. If you keep it alive, keeping it alive is much easier than it is to stop and start something again. If you stop, there's often times where you'll start to put it off, and you won't do it for a couple of months, 3 months, 4 months, sometimes even years go by. Therefore, it's easier to keep a laughably simple streak alive than it is to start and stop something. To get the intensity in one session is much harder than doing the consistency over time. So as I was on my run this morning, 26 degrees, hat on, I started out and it was cold. All I wanted to do was to stop and go back inside and lay down. But I know after several years of running, even past the streak is about 8.5 years old. Before that, I was running as well. I knew that my body would warm up to things. My body is a 2-year-old when it comes to running. It throws a temper tantrum every time I get it out the door in order to go running. It does not matter. There are very few runs that I've had where I feel completely 100% like, yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm light on my feet. I can barely feel the ground. That's usually not the case. Usually it's a 2-year-old temper tantrum where it's like, I don't want to do this right now. How can we have to do this? Lay down on the ground, kick and scream. I don't want to do this. If I can get past that mental hurdle, which I know I can, is just start off with a slow pace. And by the way, just in case you think that I have some absolute professional pace of running, I don't. I run anywhere from 10 to 11 minute miles. And so you could probably, for most people, that would be called jogging, not necessarily running. I get out there, I do decent distances, 3 miles to 6 miles, and then when I'm training for marathons, it'll be longer. However, it's always going to be from 10 to 11 minutes. It's usually never a greater or more significant pace than that. And on those days where I'm walking, it's usually anywhere from 16 to 17 minutes of walking a mile. As I started going along on the run, I felt myself warming up and getting used to this. And the other thing that happened is I started to feel the congestion start to loosen up, and I could cough out some of that congestion. I thought to myself, I wonder if, no scientific evidence on this at all, nothing to support it, other than there may be some research out there, but I wonder if as I introduce this cool oxygen outside air into my body and am breathing deeply, if that helps to expel some of the toxins and other things that may be building up from sickness. Again, I have no idea on any of that. Here's what I do know, is that after the run, I did 3 miles. After the run, when I came in, I felt better. My body was still achy. I still felt the aches, and I still have a little bit of the congestion, but I did feel better. I know that it's going to take a little bit more time to get completely healed, but I also know that keeping the streak alive of running or walking at least 1 mile has been and is helpful. It helps me to remain healthy and strong. Sometimes we get people pushing back in the realm of, and it could be in any of it, saying, one, why do you need to do this? Isn't that obsessive compulsive? Honestly, I'm just going to tell you, I don't feel obsessive compulsive about what it is I'm specifically choosing to do in regards to my physical health or spiritual health or my professional health, personal health. All of those things I look at and are benefited by the streak. Right now, a lot of people ask me, how many streaks do you maintain? I maintain, let me just give you a real quick count here. Let's see if it's up there. I've got, 11, 12, 13, plus another 20, 22, 24, 30, I'd say about 40 different streaks, all in different parts of my life. Marriage, personal, physical, professional, spiritual, and I have a few streaking streaks. Some of those, for example, are to review streaking finances at least one time every day, which I do. Or update my streak sheet daily. That's another one. As I look at these particular streaks in each area of my life, the consistency that is necessary to keep the streak alive, the strength that I need to gather to keep the streak alive is good strength. It's something that I've wanted to build for a long time. And when my streaks are aligned with who I want to be, then when illness comes, when sickness comes, it's like, I still want to be this person, and therefore I'm going to go ahead and complete my streaks. One other thing I was thinking about. So while I'm running, I usually listen to a podcast. Sometimes it'll be the Unashamed podcast, which I really enjoy listening to. That's the Duck Dynasty guys, and they have somewhat of a Bible study, but they also tell stories of their lives and all the different crazy things that they've been through. I also listen to speeches, BYU speeches is another one I listen to. I listen to sometimes Whitney Johnson, and she shares a little bit. She has great interviews. She interviews guests, business professional guests all the time, and that's fantastic. Today, I was listening to BYU speeches. And the individual who was speaking was talking about a checklist and how you want to move past the checklist, and how the checklist is, doing a checklist and checking it off. It's, how do you say it? It's not enough. Now, you know that I've said that it is enough, and the checklist is where I start. The checklist is the floor, it's the foundation. When I am sick, under the weather, not feeling well emotionally or physically, doing just the checklist keeps me going. Whereas not doing the checklist, I believe becomes detrimental to my overall health and the whole person, not just the physical health, but the whole person. If I do the checklist, which is the streak, every single day, that is the floor, the foundation on which I can build in order to reach for some of the amazing moments of my life. Some of the amazing things that happened, like I was talking to you about yesterday, where Mark and Megan took the oath, the lawyer's oath, and became attorneys in the state of Colorado, legal attorneys in the state of Colorado. Really cool. But those are, as you do your streaks, you become who you want to be. And yes, there are times when you're not going to feel like doing it, where you feel under the weather. And I'm here to say that I've found that as I do them, I don't think I'm as sick. I'm as sick, or I get as sick, and I think that the sickness is not as long. That's what I found for me all the time in whatever it is that I've done in streaking whenever I felt under the weather. And by the way, the other thing, I haven't felt under the weather a lot. There's only every once in a while that I feel under the weather. And that, I think, is also part of the whole streaking methodology and culture. So as you feel a little bit under the weather this particular season, just keep your streaks alive. Make them laughably simple so that you can do them. And know that when the sickness is over, you'll be that much further ahead. Thanks for listening today. If you want to learn more about streaking, buy the book at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, or anywhere books are sold. You can also download the Streaking app. Fantastic app. See and understand what people do to set streaks in their life. Post proof of yourself. Streak with friends. Set up communities. Invite your friends to join with you. And if you wouldn't mind, mark or go onto the app and give it a review. Also give this podcast a review. That helps to get it out to more people. More people see it, and streaking benefits everyone. Until we talk again, keep streaking.
A better you.